Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture series of Vermiculture Biotechnology. In this lecture, you are going to learn about the earthworm and its types. Earthworm is an animal, so it comes under the kingdom Animalia. Earthworm belongs to the phylum Annelida, class Oligochaeta, and order Opisthophora. Earthworm are bilaterally symmetrical and metamerically segmented vermiform. Hence, it is included in the phylum Annelida. The skin of the earthworm contains setae. They are arranged individually, so it comes under the class Oligochaeta. They are placed in the order Neo-Oligochaeta on the basis of the male pores opening posterior to the female pores. The segment bearing male reproductive organs are anterior to that of the female. Earthworms are commonly known as dewworms, rainworm, night craveler, mehadriller, bigworm, angular worm, etc. They prefer to live in burrows made in moist soil. They stay in the burrow during daytime and come out in the night as well as in the cloudy weather. During the rainy season, they travel over the soil surface. Earthworms burrow through the soil. They swallow everything on their way. They adjust waste material in the form of worm castings. Earthworm locomate from one location to another through wriggling movement. Wriggling means it moves the body or a part to and fro with short writhing movements. That is to move or advance by twisting and turning. They are nocturnal. Nocturnality is an animal behavior characterized by being active during the night and sleeping during the day. They are commonly seen on the soil surface during rainy season when their burrows are flooded with water. Mostly earthworms come out during night and rainy seasons. They may be phytophagous, geophagous, or phytogeophagous. Phytophagous means the worms eat only plant materials. Geophagous worms eat soil. Geophytophagous worms eat both soil and plant. So, most of the earthworms are omnivorous, eating on both plant and animal materials. Earthworm starts its breed during rainy season. They reproduce sexually only. Earthworms are hermaphrodites but copulate in order to transform the spermatozoa. Fertilization and the development occur inside the cocoon. The first development is direct. They possess great power of regeneration. Earthworm populations depend on ideal soil temperature, moisture, pH, salts, aeration, texture, and available foods. Most of the earthworms prefer neutral pH. They are extremely sensitive to pH. Changes in soil pH induce the worm to go in diapause. Earthworms' lifespan is 3 to 7 years. They have no eyes. They have chemoreceptors and photoreceptors to sense the environment. The color of earthworm may range from deep brown to light brown. The brown color of the worm is due to the presence of a pigment called porphyrin in the body wall, protecting it from the bright and strong light. The earthworm lacks a distinct head, eyes, and lungs. The body is covered by cuticle. The body consists of 100 to 120 similar segments. These segments are separated by a ring-like grooves called septae. The body also have clitellum. Clitellum is an elastic, granular, thickened, ring-like area of the body wall of earthworm. This clitellum epidermis contains three types of glands. They are mucus glands, cocoon secreting glands, albumin secreting glands. Mucus glands secrete mucus. Cocoon secreting glands secrete the wall of cocoon. The albumin glands secrete albumin into the cocoon. It forms the nutritive medium for the eggs and embryo. Next, classification of earthworm. Earthworms are classified based on the following factors: based on the habitat, based on the soil layers, based on behavior, based on the feeding habits, based on the food material, based on place of living. Evans and Guild in the year 1947 has classified the earthworms into two based on its habitat. They are surface dwelling worms and deep dwelling worms. Based on the soil layers, Lee has adopted a classification of earthworms based on the soil layers into three. They are litter species, topsoil species, subsoil species. Litter species do not live inside the burrow, but they live under the leaf litter. They are darkly pigmented and feed on decomposing litter. Second type is topsoil. These species live in permanent burrows. They are moderately pigmented and feed on decomposing litter and some soil. Third one is subsoil species. These species live in deep permanent burrows. They are lightly pigmented. They feed on soil and organic matter in the soil. Next type is based on the behavior, that is morphological, behavioral, ecological and physiological characteristics. Perel in 1977 classified the lumbricids into two. They are humus farmers, humus feeders. Humus farmers in the type, they are feeding on coarse particles of plant debris, that is slightly decomposed organic matter. Second type is humus feeders. They feed on plant debris that is already much decomposed into fine organic matter. Based on feeding habits and color, Pierce has classified the earthworms into the following three groups based on their feeding habits and color. Number 1, pigmented, that is also referred as little feeders. Number 2, less pigmented, otherwise called as topsoil feeders. Number 3, less pigmented, humus feeders. Based on the type of food materials, the endogic earthworms are classified into three types. They are polyhumic, mesohumic, oligohumic. Polyhumic is feed on soil with high organic matter. Mesohumic earthworms feed on both mineral and organic matter in the top 15 cm of soil. Oligohumic earthworms, they feed on soil with poor inorganic matters in the deeper layer of the soil. Based on the place of living, the earthworm are classified into four different types. They are night crawlers, field worms, manure worms, pelose worms. Night crawlers live in lawns and fields. They are known as great fish bite and more common earthworms in most of the world. They can grow a little more than a foot long. Their body have visible sections and a thick band across the middle. These worms remain in cool areas to survive. Next is field worms. Field worms are also known as garden worms. They are smaller in length and diameter. These worms are known to wriggle a lot. When these worms are held on hand, they may curl up. So they are not recommended for composting because of this non-prolific breeders. Third one is manure worms. Manure worms are living in manures. They also found in soil containing large quantity of organic matter. Manure worms are most commonly used in farmed worms. They are used for vermicomposting. They eat a wide range of food materials. They are active breeders and multiply within a short period. They are fast diggers and they can stretch their bodies deep into the soil. Some of the examples for manure worms are red wigglers or angler worm because of their wiggling reaction when handled. Final one is Pellows worm. It is found in the Pellows region of eastern Washington state in America. It is commonly called giant Pellows earthworm or Washington giant earthworm. This is the rarest species and it is not like other earthworms. They are more than 3 feet long on average and light skin toned color. These worms believed to give off a scent similar to the lily flowers. So it is said to be lily worm. They prefer fertile soil which consists of volcanic ash and rich layer of organic matter. These worms live in deep burrows during summer drought season and able to conserve water in its nephridia. In the year 1971, the scientist Bouch classified earthworms into three forms based on its habitat. First one is epigeic form or litter dwellers. Second one is endogeic form or the shallow soil dwellers. Third one is enesic forms or the deep soil dwellers. This classification is mainly based on their dwelling habits. This classification of Bouch is more widely used. Let's see about these three types of earthworms. First, epigeic form or little dwellers. Epigeic is a Greek word meaning upon the earth. From this meaning, these worms live upon the surface of the earth, that is, live in decayed organic matter, not inside the soil. They do not have burrows. Mostly, they hide below the leaf litters. They are small in size and very active. They are good biodegraders, feeding mainly on leaf litters, that is, leaf waste. So, they are called phytophagaceous. As I already told, phytophagaceous means the worms which eat only plants. The life cycle of epigeic species is short. They grow and mature rapidly. They have high reproductivity rate. They do not exhibit longitudinal contraction. They have no hooked setae. They are less sensitive to light. They are darkly pigmented and homochromic. Homochromic means they are uniformly pigmented throughout the body. Respiratory rate is high. The cocoons survive the adverse seasons. As they cannot burrow into the soil, they do not have any effect on the soil structure. These are suitable for vermicomposting and widely used. Some of the commercially available epigeic worms are Eisenia fetida, Eutrylus eugenia, Lumbricus rubellus. Second type is endogeic. Endogeic means within the earth. These lives in the mineral soil layer. They have horizontal branched burrows. These branched burrows are coated with mucus and mineral layer of soil. They are large sized. They have sluggish movement. They are humus feeders. They have no hooked setae. They are strongly sensitive to light. They have no pigmentation. Growth and maturation are slow. Adverse condition is passed by quiescence. Longitudinal contraction is less. They feed on more mineral soil rich in organic matter, so they are called as geophagus. Geophagus means they eat only soil. The life cycle of endozoic forms have long period. They are also used for vermicomposting. Some of the common endozoic earthworms have an important impact on the soil structure and used for vermicompostings are Montescolus corythrurus, Megascolus concanensis, Ferithema elongata, Metaphor postuma. Third type is Enisic form or the deep soil dwellers. Enisic is a Greek word meaning out of the earth. That is, they burrow in deep soil. They live in deep soil in vertical and permanent burrows. The walls of the burrows are lined by their excreta and mucus. They move into the burrows slowly and are humus farmers. In night, they come to the surface and drag dead leaves into their burrows. They are medium sized. The seta are hooked. They exhibit longitudinal contraction. Pigmentation is dorsal and anterior. They are moderately sensitive to light. Growth and maturation is also moderate. They feed on mineral soil and plant matters, so they are known as geophytophagaceous. They can leave big mounded cast on the surface of the soil. The Enisic modify soil structure through the construction of burrows and enhance the decomposition of plant debris. Some of the common example seen in this type is Lumbricius terrestris, Lambito maruti, Aprictoda longa. These are about the classification of earthworms. Earthworms are distributed all over the world, so earthworms are cosmopolitan. In today's lecture, we have seen about the classification of earthworms. In next lecture, we will see about the mechanism of vermicomposting. Thank you all for listening this lecture. Hello everyone. Welcome to the second lecture series of vermiculture.